In the world of music, as in any other world, there are a few names that stand out above the rest. These are not just the best, but also the most popular singers in the world, with global fan bases composed of hundreds of millions of fans. Welcome to Who's Number One. In this video, you are going to discover the top 10 singers in the world. So, let's get to it. Number 10. Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish has taken the world by storm in recent years and has already achieved immense success. There are many reasons why Billie Eilish has such a dedicated fan base, such as her completely unique style and public image, from her memorable green-black hair to her signature oversized streetwear look. Billie has created an iconic visual brand, and she stands out in the pop music landscape. On top of that, she is the youngest artist ever to win all 4 of the top Grammy categories in the same year at age 18. And she was the first person to achieve this feat of winning the Big Four awards in 1 year since Christopher Cross in 1981. Though she has had nearly no music activity in 2023, Billie Eilish remains one of the biggest music stars in the world. Number 9. Dua Lipa. It's funny to think of a successful young artist as just another striving professional, but Dua Lipa is already the kind of multi-hyphenate entrepreneur who not only finishes her assignments on time, but discusses strategy and efficiency with the clarity of a company founder delivering a TED Talk. At the moment, Dua Lipa is finishing her 3rd album, due for release this year, and despite the trend of musicians announcing and delaying records for years, she will almost certainly meet her deadline. Her 2nd album, Future Nostalgia, leaked in 2020 at the beginning of the lockdowns, unintentionally cemented her as the leading pop star of the pandemic. Her barrage of shimmery singles, or music for dance crying as she describes it, later established her as the only female artist with 2 albums that have surpassed 10 billion streams on Spotify. Number 8. Rihanna. Rihanna's music has soundtracked most of this century, and that kind of ubiquity is easily taken for granted, like air. She released a full-length studio album every single year between 2005 and 2012, save for a 1-year break in 2008. Of the 61 Rihanna songs on the Billboard Hot 100, 14 of them were number 1 hits, and 31 of them were top 10 hits. And no album has landed as many number 1 songs on Billboard's Dance Club Songs chart as A&TI, the album Rihanna released in 2016 after an unprecedented hiatus. To this day, 8 years after its release, it remains Rihanna's latest album. It's still worth asking, however, how fans can adequately continue to love Rihanna, as this marks yet another year where she doesn't drop music. Still, she is among the 10 most streamed artists in the world, which speaks volumes of her talent and impact as a singer. Number 7. Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran's most impressive quality is his ability to play all of his songs completely by himself, as he has never once been on a major tour with a backing band. It's borderline insane. With his latest drop, Autumn Variations, Ed Sheeran has now released 7 albums, and that is a lot of albums. With 7 albums released, hundreds of songs written, and a decade on top of the pop music industry, does an artist begin to lose their touch? Throughout Autumn Variations, Sheeran explores places his music has not delved deeply into before, with mental health issues being at the forefront of the record. As an artist and as a person, this is undoubtedly a brave step to take. Where it falls flat in this album, though, is how the issues and Sheeran's struggles are presented. Sheeran deserves credit for many things, but in the end, there's little new and little memorable in Autumn Variations. Number 6. Bad Bunny. Just 5 years ago, the Billboard 200 had never had a Spanish-language album atop its rankings, and Bad Bunny has now done it 3 albums in a row. And although his latest album's songs didn't cling to the charts in the same way, it did become Spotify's 2023 most streamed album in a single day upon its release. In February 2023, the performer opened the 65th Annual Grammy Awards with his 2022 album that paid homage to his beloved Puerto Rico. Running the gamut of Caribbean music, the superstar brought previously overshadowed genres to primetime television at the prestigious ceremony. Bad Bunny was up for Best Pop Solo Performance, Best Urban Music Album, and the coveted Album of the Year award. Despite not clinching the latter, he still made history as the first all-Spanish LP to receive a Grammy nomination for Album of the Year. Number 5. Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber was the biggest pop star in the world in the early 2010s, and no one can deny that. And now, he is back to being one of the best and most influential singers in the world. After 5 years outside of the music industry, he returned in 2020 with his album Changes, and his latest album Justice, which he dropped in 2021, contains many chart-topping songs. Despite not having had much activity in 2022 or 2023, Justin Bieber is still the 3rd most streamed artist on Spotify, with almost 90 million monthly listeners. We all know his story. Raised by a single mother, Bieber had humble beginnings, precipitating his work ethic and meteoric rise. Playing the guitar, piano, drums, and trumpet growing up, his mother planted the seeds for Bieber's life as a pop idol by uploading videos of him singing to YouTube during the site's infancy, making him one of the first major internet celebrities. 15 years later, he has won 2 Grammy Awards and has been nominated a total of 23 times. Number 4. Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande may be the only one who has managed to attain the kind of pop star mega fame that had recently seemed extinct. In 2018, only one woman held the number 1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100 as a solo artist, and that was Ariana Grande. While other female artists also reached the top of the charts, their singles were accompanied by male artists who had previously dominated streaming platforms and radio airplay. And it seemed as if the traditional pop that once ruled was being phased out by pop rap from the likes of Drake and Post Malone. She is also the first artist since the Beatles in 1964 to monopolize the top 3 spots of the Billboard Hot 100 with her songs. But what really sets Ariana Grande apart from her pop contemporaries is the constant unpredictability of what she's going to do next. From a string of surprise singles to releasing 2 back-to-back albums in a short span of time, and her openly revealing public persona, Ariana Grande has redefined what it means to be a pop star today. Number 3. Drake. The turn of the year was quiet for Drake, by the prolific megastar's standards. After dropping his 21 Savage team-up album Her Loss, the Canadian, considered one of the best rappers in the world, sat back and watched the album top the charts, but soon the hype was dwindling. Drake started 2023 on a high note though, returning to the stage and delighting fans with a career-spanning mix of his biggest hits and deep cuts and giving fans a taste of what was to come. One of Drake's greatest star strengths is his ability to create headline-worthy moments that are controversial, but not career-jeopardizing. And pressure was high for him to release a strong album after experiencing a dip in both fan enthusiasm and chart performance with Honestly Nevermind. Once released, For All the Dogs proved that Drake remains commercially bulletproof, with the album debuting at number 1, tying Michael Jackson's record for solo males on the Billboard Hot 100 with J. Cole team-up First-Person Shooter. The album's lead single, Slime You Out, soared to number 1 on the Hot 100, but ultimately, fans found the track disappointing, as did legendary actress Halle Berry, who was featured in the cover art without her approval, and co-star SZA, who claims her best vocals were not incorporated. With all, it quickly fell down the chart, as fans continue to cite Drake's older works as his prime. Number 2. The Weeknd. In February 2023, The Weeknd became the first artist in Spotify history to reach 100 million monthly listeners. Take a minute to digest that. It just speaks volumes to The Weeknd's amazing presence in the music industry. And that's because not only does The Weeknd make quality music, he goes above and beyond to make sure that he lives the music that he's creating. The Weeknd will create a character on an album and stick to it throughout all of the promotion. For After Hours, for example, his alter ego is a bloodied, suit-wearing cocaine-addicted celebrity who likes to go 5 rounds with a lion. During every public appearance, he could be seen with that same crimson suit he wore on the album with progressively worse scarring and bandages on his face, to the point where he revealed his face with disturbing plastic surgery done to it in the Save Your Tears music video. The Weeknd's next album will form the final part of an album trilogy following 2020's After Hours and 2022's Dawn FM, which received widespread acclaim from music critics, who complimented its production and melodies. As per him, The Weeknd is currently finishing his new album and will share its title soon. Number 1. Taylor Swift. It didn't seem possible that anyone could have a year this dominant, at least not this deep into the streaming era, and not this long after the oft-proclaimed death of the monoculture. Not when the entire industry seems to be in crisis over how to capture and hold onto listener attention. It was a year not to be judged against Swift's 2023 peers, but against the entirety of modern pop history, which isn't to say that it came totally out of nowhere, of course. She'd already ended 2022 on a stunning new career peak, 15 years into her superstardom, as Midnights took her to yet another new level, with 1.57 million units moved in its first week. Nearly 3 years into a decade where no other artist, even Adele, had even come particularly close to clearing a million. Previously, Taylor Swift's greatest pop star alive claims had to be tempered with allowances that Adele sold more, that Drake streamed better, that The Weeknd and Ariana Grande had bigger pop hit singles. Now all these qualifiers are moot. Taylor Swift is dominating on every platform at every level, and if anyone else is nearing her performance in 1 or 2 facets of superstardom, they certainly aren't in all of them. She ended 2022 the unchallenged number 1 in the pop arena, and she ends 2023 the unchallenged number 1 singer in the world. So, what do you think of the list? Do you agree with our ranking? Or would you have done something differently? Do you think any of these singers could make the all-time top 10 singer list? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Now, if you have enjoyed the video, be sure to leave a like on it. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our weekly top 10 videos. Thank you for watching. This is Who's Number One. See you next time.